In today's session, I want to look at this idea of connecting brain to brain. So there's 3 colors, green, yellow, and red zones that we can be in as parents, as well as our children can be in as well. Green is when we're calm and regulated. The child will appear calm, open, receptive, engaged. We can reason with them at that point. This is the teaching zone. We can teach our child because their brain's receptive to ideas, what we're trying to talk about. So that's when our children are calm and regulated in the green zone. That's when we want to be able to do our disciplining and teaching. And same with parents. We want to be in that zone so we're able to teach. The next zone is the yellow zone, which would be in the limbic part of our brain. And that's the pause zone. It's like we're starting to get dysregulated. In this zone, children could appear emotionally needy, clingy, cuddly, demanding, distracted, hyper, uncooperative, nervous, laugh, crying. For our daughter, she's just kind of dysregulated, and you can tell she's just having a hard time. Not the best time to do any teaching. In the yellow zone, if we do want to do some teaching, it's very succinct, very short, very few words, and we're actually modeling and coaching for our children what they should be doing. Because when children are in the yellow zone, we can't expect their brains to be online and functioning as if they were in the green zone. So if we do want to have any conversation, we're primarily the ones driving the car, so to speak, modeling and coaching what our child should say. At that time, we want to be able to set some limits, like, Jayla, if you'd like juice, ask nicely, or will there be no juice, right? And helping our children to regulate their bodies and using their words and actions, pausing, breathing. We've got a nice regulation kind of cozy corner for our daughters on the main floor. We bought them a little soft little mat blanket that they really like, and they have a calming chair and some different calming tools. So when you see your children going into that yellow zone, going to their chill space, which we'll talk about later in today's session, can be really helpful as well. And also being able to really help them be aware of their emotions, especially if they're young. We're doing that as parents. Joel, you feel sad right now. Do you feel sad? Are you upset? Are you worried? Are you stressed? Are you angry? So I'm not asking all those questions at the same time, of course, but one question and allow them to respond. Because as children get older, we want to teach them to feel it, to heal it, and name it, to tame it. So just being able to be aware and express our emotions is so powerful. And the final zone is the red zone, which is the no talk zone or a brains offline. Children are either in fight, flight, or freeze, and really probably having some more intense externalizing or internalizing behaviors. This is the time for a chill zone. We don't want to talk. We simply want to get to their eye level, make eye contact. For some kids, they might want gentle touch, and just being there with them, or they might need to go to their chill space. Of course, the chill space should be close enough so we're not creating a disconnection with them. We're able to go over there with them. We're not playing, we're not having fun, but we are just being with them in that moment. And that's where discipline done well is recognizing when children are in the red zone, they're not ready to have a conversation. You know, I can think of growing up, and I had amazing parents. They're awesome people, and we all kind of make mistakes sometimes as parents, right? So we're all on a journey. And my parents would say, when I was maybe in the more yellow or red zone, hey, Joel, like, you've lost computer for a day, and if you keep talking, you lose it for 2 days, and so on and so forth. Well, trying to discipline a child when they're in the red zone, or even yellow, the consequences, if you make them steeper, their brain's offline, so it's really not helping them. So making sure they're able to have those regulation breaks, or we're pressing pause before we try to provide discipline. It's a really important key. So we really, in an ideal world, only want to give discipline in the green zone. That can certainly be a challenge. But as we look at this next slide here, when our brain is offline, and when we're kind of in that brainstem of the red zone or limbic system of the yellow zone, our brain really is offline. So speaking, talking, it's really just engaging the child's downstairs brain, so to speak, as Siegel and Bryson call it, of the amygdala. And we're really not able to help them learn anything at that point. When we look at the flip side, the neocortex or the green zone, a child's brain is online, that they're actually responsive to our questions, their upstairs brain, they're able to reason with us. So that's really important to remember. Is my child's brain offline? Because discipline in an offline brain it's kind of like talking to the wall. There's no point in doing it because it's probably going to make the situation worse, I should say. But when our brain's online, that's when discipline works. So if we look at this visual chart here, this is a powerful resource that I use for many families, recognizing these 4 colors of the zones of regulation. Blue being sad, yellow being worried, stressed, anxious, you can see there. Red, more angry, upset, dysregulated. And of course, green is calm, relaxed, and regulated. We want to be able to do as much discipline as possible in the green zone. It's not always possible, but as close to green as possible. Sometimes blue and yellow can work too. Where discipline does not work is in the red zone. So that's one thing we want to be mindful. That is for sure pressing pause, taking chill breaks. If we can do it when we're in the yellow zone, that's most helpful before our children get to red. But understanding our zones as parents is equally important. We want to be able to provide discipline when we're not in the red zone either. And this is a tool, for children, I'd say ages 5 to 6 and up, that I really love for parents to talk about, every day at home. So you could print something like this off and talk about it at dinner time, because there's emotional awareness, expression, and equilibrium of mixing different types of feelings. So if we could help our children become more aware, even by labeling and coaching, hey, for example, to my daughter, Jayla, right now you seem a little bit worried, or you seem a bit sad. Labeling and coaching those emotions helps build that awareness so children are more self-aware. As they're more self-aware, they're able to self-regulate or regulate themselves and know, oh, I'm feeling a little bit stressed out or worried, or my body's dysregulated. I need to go to my chill space and calm down. Here you can see those 4 colors. In terms of small, medium, and big problems, when we're in the blue, or especially the green, it's a small problem. We can solve things ourselves. We don't need a lot of help. But as we get to the yellow zone, anything becomes a medium problem. You can see that slow sign. We need to ask for help. And that's a really key piece as well. Teaching our children when they get into the yellow zone, we need to ask for help. Because if we can do that, then we're not getting to the place where we're at the red zone where we have a big, huge problem. And that's where most often the discipline has to come out. I think as parents, disciplining in the yellow zone or being able to course correct in the yellow zone can mitigate a lot of discipline we have to give in the red zone. So building our own awareness of when we're feeling dysregulated in the yellow zone and saying, hey, Jayla, what you're doing right now is kind of stressful. Of course, appropriate self-disclosures. We don't want to make our children feel that we're putting our emotions on them, but we can communicate if a child's, being a little bit unruly or out of control or making poor choices. We can say that's stressful, what you're saying there. So communicating our zones and also really being aware of the child's zone. When they're starting to get dysregulated, we've got to intervene, because if we don't, they'll get into the red zone and it'll be much harder to provide discipline.
Thanks for watching this video. We hope you got something out of it. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button.